Sri Sasmit Patra.
Honorable Vice Chairman, sir, this is regarding a very wonderful bill that has been brought in, has been there for a long time in waiting. It's a mixed bag, but I'll start with what are the good salient features and areas where more work is required. When we look at the positive side of it, sir, the increasing compensation for road accidents and increasing allocation in terms of death and grievous injury, that has been improved. That's a welcome sign. In terms of compulsory insurance, the motor vehicle accident fund that is being talked about, we hope that will come through, that will help. The good Samaritans being identified and not being victimized, that's another feature of this bill. It's a positive step. The recall of vehicles from manufacturers, especially if for any defect. National Transportation Policy, Road Safety Board, these are all welcome steps, but these need to be worked on by the government. In terms of offences and penalties, stronger deterrence has come about by more stronger penalties and offences which would be created thereof. And as far as the licensing of tax aggregators, it's also a welcome step. We hope the Honourable Minister will take it up strongly. Apart from this, there are a couple of areas I would like to bring to the notice of the Honourable Minister. Honourable Shri Navneet Krishnanji has already talked about it. It's clause number 34, new section 88A of the bill. In that specifically, when we are to look at the various aspects under 88A that has been talked about, the last mile connectivity, rural transport, etc. In that, Honourable Minister has already agreed that he's going to change the term that provided that the central government may, before taking any action under this subsection, consult the state government. He has agreed to turn it to concurrence. But I also want to add another suggestion, sir. Provided that the central government may, I think that may word also needs to be deleted. Otherwise, having concurrence and continuing with may does not go aligned with each other. So therefore, I would suggest that the Honourable Minister should think that the central government, before taking any action under this subsection, take the concurrence of the state government. That is a very important aspect, sir. Coming to new section 211A of the bill under clause 90, I would like to stress, sir, there is a specific requirement which says that all documents, forms and applications under this act may be filed in an electronic format to be prescribed by the central or state governments. So there are different state governments and they have different capacities. Some of them may have digitized it completely, some may be in the process of it. There's also a requirement that these state governments be allowed to introduce it in a phased-wise manner rather than pushed from the day one. So another aspect is in terms of clause number 92, section 25A, 215A, 215B and 215C. In 215A, sir, the clause says, notwithstanding anything else contained in the Act, the central government will have the power to delegate any power function that is conferred upon it by the Act to any public servant or public authority and authorize such to discharge. So the question here is, this also brought up in the select committee, Sri Sahasrabuddhiji is there, and I was going through the report of the same, where the question about public authority and public servant, the question is tomorrow, if the government decides a private body is authorized by the government to undertake such activities, would that private body constitute as the public authority? So that is a bigger concern, sir, because this clause specifically indicates that the powers of the state government have been provided to such pieces, including the central government, to undertake responsibilities. So in conclusion, sir, I'll conclude. There are few suggestions that have been brought in. So one is in terms of electronic monitoring that is being talked about. The amount of resources required to bring about electronic monitoring at the state level needs to be found out, and the central government might help. Protection to cyclists, pedestrians and bus users, Sri Sahasrabuddhiji was talking about it. In terms of consultative mechanism for subordinate legislation, there needs to be a format, sir, when subordinate legislation would come in, how we can do that. Toilets on long distance buses, clarity on contract carriage, sir. Rules to ensure safety for children below the age of 4 riding on a two-wheeler. Many times we find little children, babies on two-wheelers, very unsafe, sir. What is the government thinking about it?
Thank you.
In terms of, I'll just conclude, sir. In terms of rules and controls on speeding, community service as a component of an offence, and provision for 2 drivers on large commercial vehicles for more than 500 kilometers or more. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.